So I feel like, oh my gosh. Hello everyone, it's Akane. 皆さんこんにちは、Akane です。It has been 1 month since I started to live in London, and some people ask me questions how the life is it different, or is it exciting city? Today I like to share how I feel so far about living in London. In this video, I like to talk in English, but ごめんなさい if I use wrong grammar or vocabularies. Please understand I'm not a native speaker, so I've never been in abroad more than 1 year. Anyway, let's get started. The first things that I felt very different and interesting is British accent and British English. When I took a year off and I stayed in Canada to learn English with working holiday visa, like everything is happening in American English. When I took the Cambridge exam, I learned some British accent, but not really. I mean, like for the daily conversation, everyone talks in the American accent, and we like to watch the TV drama or movies. But like Friends or Sex and the Cities, Prison Break, White Collar, everything comes from America. So I didn't really listen to British English before, but now after 1 month, I found like so many different vocabularies and the expression and accents. After 1 week, I came to London. I took the bus to go back home, and it was pretty crowded. It was like 5-6 p.m. and everyone rushed into the home, and one lady tried to get off the bus and it was packed, so she said, oh sorry, excuse me, I need to get off here, and at the end she said cheers and got off the bus. I feel like cheers for me it's like cheer is like kanpai, cheers, you know. But like she said cheers when she got off the bus. I don't get it. But like if I imagine the situation, it's like it means thank you. Cheers. Okay, so I Google it and cheers, thank you, British people or British English, then it means thank you. So some words are completely different and like very new for me. Also, the accent is very new. They don't really pronounce the R sound at the end rather than America. America has like strong accent of R, so beer, color. But here it's like color, beer. I feel like, oh, it's fun to see the difference. Yeah, so I hope I get used to the British accent a little bit more. Maybe I'm gonna make a video about the difference that I found out, the British English and American English, very soon. Yeah. That's very makes me excited. I believe if you're an English learner, you would like to discover the difference, I mean the origin of the English language. So the second things that I'm surprised about is the rent. It's so expensive. I read the article about how the life in London, and the one article said like 70% of your salary goes to your rent. I thought like, oh, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's not gonna happen. 70% is too much. But I really believe it, and it's really expensive. So yeah, I tried to find the Airbnb, but it's everything is more than like £1,000 or £900 if you try to access to the city center in 1 hour. And it was really hard to find a share house if I need to stay only the short term. So yeah, I asked my classmates, and if you try to live in a nicer neighbor or like not too far from the city center, then yeah, like around £800 to £1,000 will be normal, and still you need to share the house with someone. Like in Tokyo, I feel like it's possible to live by yourself with the £900 or £1,000, but it's really impossible here, I believe. And so everyone tried to share the house. Even though you graduate from university, yes, you still need to share a house because the rent is so expensive. And that's really sad about London, but I really saw many homeless people on the street, and it's winter. I mean, it's January, February, so it's winter time and it's so cold outside. But some people have hard time to find a place, and yeah, its rent is getting really crazy. And the third thing, if you hear the silence, you found out that London is not the nicest, safest city to live in. Yeah, this is what I found out. So I started to stay in London with Airbnb in a different place that I live in right now. I didn't search about a neighbor before I booked the Airbnb. I know I should have done it, but I didn't do that. So when I arrive in Airbnb, I feel like, oh, the neighbor is not like the safest area. And I started to search about the area, and I found out that one article there is about the knife crime just 20 minutes away from the place I live in. So I feel like, oh my gosh, I cannot go out at the night. So yeah, I mean, like, it was different neighbor, and if you know about London, it's fine. You're not gonna choose that area. And after I asked my friends and classmates, and they said like, oh, this area is sketchy. I really didn't know that word, but sketchy means like not the safest. It's not dangerous, but if you start to live in London, please be careful to choose the city, and before you choose the neighbor to live in, you should check online and just type the city name news. Then you will see, oh, this area is maybe it's not nice, since like in London, crime rate of the knife is really increased, and it happens in the bigger station if it's not the nice neighbor. So I would recommend you to search it beforehand. But now I started to live in the Whitechapel, another area which is a bit west and a bit east side of London, and I feel safe. So I think it really depends on the neighbor. And fourth thing, I think everyone is curious about food in London. What's the actual life? What they eat, or how the quality in the restaurant. It's not too bad than I expected, but it's still expensive compared with the one that I can get in Tokyo. It's not like something you cannot eat. It's still nice and quality is good, but still I feel very expensive. If you try to go out and eat something, fish and chips and English breakfast, it's alright, but it's not like, oh, delicious or amazing. It's not something like that. Just you deep fry the fish with chips, so it's alright for me. Yeah, and for the Japanese food, I tried some ramen restaurants, and it was not too expensive. Like compared with Japan, it's still expensive, but it's like 10 pounds, 11 pounds, so 1300円ぐらいかなでした。I tried the tonkotsu ramen, but the quality was very good, I felt. So if you try to find a nice restaurant, I'm sure you can reach a restaurant, but just they don't really have a great authentic food, let's say. So that's a different from Japan and the life in France. Compare with the life in London I felt so far, but it's a quite exciting city. If you go to the city center, it's a kind of mixture of the European culture, like European brick style of house, and very modern buildings. Like some buildings look like one in Dubai. I feel like it's kind of the egg-shaped tower. There you go. But it's a mix of like a nice European culture and the modern city. And I'm sure a lot of business going on here, so it's getting busier and busier. Yeah, and I really like the atmosphere of the pub, a British pub. Like, it's very different. It smells beer everywhere. So yeah, if you like beer, why not go into the British pub? But for me, the food is so important to choose the place I live in. So Yeah, still I like Japan and the French culture. Anyway, I really enjoyed the time in here and learn English and programming. I think to learn English here is a quite nice city to stay, and since everyone speaks British accent, you feel the different from American accent that we learn in elementary school or junior high, and I think that's really nice experience. Maybe I talk too much. Thank you very much for watching my video. 動画見ていただきありがとうございました。If you like my video, please hit likes or subscribe my channel. Thank you very much. Bye bye.